Born in the early 1990s in the parish of St. Thomas, Akeeme Campbell was raised in a community known more for farming and folklore than for stardom. His family lived a modest life, his parents hardworking but without much to spare. Education was a cornerstone in their home, and young Akeeme excelled academically, often top of his class at Seaforth High School. But beneath the surface of good grades and respectful manners, a storm brewed. St. Thomas, while beautiful, had few opportunities for youth. The lack of economic chances, combined with social unrest and crime, etched a different kind of education into Akeeme's soul, one that taught resilience, awareness, and survival. Music became his sanctuary. As a child, he'd mimic Bounty Killer and Sizzler, freestyling in the schoolyard and local corners. But his lyrics weren't just for show. They were sharp, socially conscious, and often painfully autobiographical. Friends would call him the Law, a nickname that came from how he handled arguments with logic and sharp-worded rebuttals. When he later adopted the moniker Chronic Law, it was more than just a name. It was a mission, the birth of the law boss. Before he became a household name, Chronic Law was immersed in the underground dancehall scene of his hometown. He began writing prolifically, penning dozens of songs that mixed street tales with existential questions about life, purpose, and betrayal. He recorded at makeshift studios in Morant Bay and later ventured into Kingston for better opportunities. With money tight and no big names backing him, every studio session was a risk. Still, the fire in his voice and his lyrical genius couldn't be ignored for long. In 2016, the tides began to turn. Chronic Law started making waves on social media and SoundCloud, with tracks like Badness Upgrade and Pain getting heavy rotation in the local scene. But his breakout moment came when his talent caught the attention of Romike Major, the high-profile manager behind many rising stars. But the real game-changer? A link-up with dancehall juggernaut Squash and the notorious 6X Camp. Rise of the 6X and national recognition. In 2018, Chronic Law officially aligned with the 6-6 movement, a raw, rebellious, and street-certified faction of young dancehall artists led by Squash, who hailed from Montego Bay. While Squash brought the firepower and street bravado, Chronic Law brought balance, a poetic philosopher cloaked in gunman tales. His collaboration with Squash on the track Government sent shockwaves through the dancehall community. Chronic Law's verse, a standout. Wedi Feds Demde, Minu Sidem, became a street anthem overnight. With his unique blend of social critique, haunting delivery, and dark melodies, Chronic Law distinguished himself from the pack. Suddenly, the country wanted to hear more of the Law boss. Tracks like Hillside, Bless Me, and No Love became soundtracks of inner-city life and personal struggle. He wasn't just rapping about the street, he was telling the emotional side of it. Chronic Law was giving pain a microphone, sound, style, and substance. At a glance, Chronic Law might fit into the mold of a dark, dancehall artist, one who speaks heavily on street warfare, betrayal, and distrust. But a deeper listen reveals the complexity of his artistry. Chronic Law brought a rare fusion of conscious lyricism, poetic flair, and grim reality to modern dancehall. His sound is cinematic, mournful piano chords, minor key progressions, and haunting bass lines. His lyrics? Surgically precise. Whether he's reflecting on friends lost to gun violence or sharing his spiritual battles, Chronic Law's delivery is both poignant and powerful. Tracks like Count My Blessings, Still a Bleed, and Empty resonate deeply with youth facing depression, betrayal, and poverty. In a society that often encourages men to mask emotion, Chronic Law stands defiantly vulnerable. His music carved out a new subgenre in dancehall, pain music, a genre where raw emotion meets real-life narrative, controversy, and criticism. With fame came scrutiny. Chronic Law faced criticism for glorifying violence and for his lyrical association with the 6X camp's darker imagery. His songs often flirted with danger, guns, revenge, street justice, but to dismiss him as just another gunman DJ is to miss the point. Chronic Law wasn't glorifying violence. He was translating it, explaining the why, not just the what. His verses dissected the roots of violence, systemic poverty, and the betrayal that comes from within. Still, not everyone got the message. In 2020, police crackdowns on dancehall parties and artist movement led to heightened tension between the authorities and artists like Chronic Law. But he kept his head down, continuing to release new music and letting his work speak for itself. Prolific output and unstoppable momentum. If there's one thing Chronic Law has mastered, it's consistency. From 2018 onward, he has released music at a blistering pace. With well over 300 tracks to his name, few modern dancehall artists match his output. And it's not just quantity, it's quality. Songs like Message, R.I.P., Big Crime, and The Pain gained millions of views on YouTube and became go-to tracks on every dancehall playlist. He dominated streaming platforms and built a cult-like following, not only in Jamaica, but across the Caribbean, UK, and diaspora communities worldwide. His music spoke to the unemployed youth in Spanish Town, the heartbroken lover in Brooklyn, and the struggling student in Toronto. Chronic Law wasn't just a dancehall artiste, he was a voice for the voiceless, personal growth and inner reflection. As his fame grew, so did his personal battles. Chronic Law has spoken candidly in interviews about betrayal from friends, trust issues, and the burden of carrying a movement. His eyes often look tired, as though bearing the weight of every verse he's ever written. He's remained rooted in his St. Thomas identity, often visiting his hometown, helping youths, and encouraging education and self-awareness. He understands the importance of image in dancehall, but refuses to play the clown for fame. Chronic Law stays real, even when real isn't popular. In recent years, he's spoken more about mental health, self-development, and spirituality, injecting new themes into his music. Songs like Life Lessons and Scars from War explore emotional healing, karma, and growth, international reach, and unyielding legacy. By 2023, Chronic Law had become more than a star. He was an icon for a new wave of lyricists. His collaborations expanded beyond 6X, linking with stars like Vybz Kartel, Jamil, and Intense. While some alliances caused controversy, Chronic Law remained focused on his mission, creating music that mattered. He performed across Europe, the US, and Africa, receiving roaring reception everywhere he went. Despite dancehall's evolving soundscape, Chronic Law retained his authenticity, refusing to water down his lyrics for mainstream approval. He diversified too, launching merchandise, mentoring younger artists, and expressing interest in one day opening a music school in St. Thomas. He's no longer just an artiste. Chronic Law is a movement. Chronic Law today, the law still stands. As of 2025, Chronic Law stands tall, an unlikely hero, a lyrical juggernaut, and a man whose journey has inspired thousands. His name continues to dominate dancehall charts. His YouTube channel is a portal into a world of pain, poetry, and perseverance, and his lyrics remain razor-sharp. From the dirt roads of St. Thomas to global playlists, he's proved that you don't have to fake it to make it. And Chronic Law has done just that every single time. As of now, Chronic Law, Akeeme Campbell, has not publicly confirmed being married. However, there has been speculation about his relationship with a woman named Wendy. TikTok videos and other social media posts have featured the two together, leading fans to believe they are in a relationship. In one TikTok video, Chronic Law is seen with Wendy, with captions suggesting a romantic connection. Despite these public appearances, Chronic Law has maintained a relatively private personal life, and details about his relationship status remain unconfirmed. Please subscribe